The snitching paperwork was released in the Young Thug YSL Rico case, revealing who the real snitches are. A statement saying, the Fulton County District Attorney says YSL team members are going after the life of a witness and their family in the criminal case against rapper Young Thug and the 27 other alleged team members. It goes on saying, Willis's office has discovered a document and part of a cooperating witness's statement that was posted on social media. The life of that witness, a cooperating YSL associate, otherwise known as a snitch, and that witness's family are now in jeopardy as a result. Willis says authorities are still investigating on who leaked the discovery material. A new indictment last week added new charges against Williams and a handful of other defendants in the case. Williams, aka Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele, and the district attorney seem to agree. Steele says it puts people at risk and wants it to stop immediately. Now, the man snitching is known as Lil Woody, as Lil Woody demanded safety for his family after he started snitching on Young Thug, Gunna, and Lil Baby. As on August 19th, YSL kingpin Young Thug had his third bond hearing. During this hearing, Young Thug was denied bond once again after prosecutors gained a bunch of new evidence against him from Lil Woody. As it states, Young Thug was denied bond yet again Thursday during a heated hearing in his Rico case where his lawyer suggested the Grammy-winning rapper is the subject of a law enforcement vendetta dating back to a 2015 drive-by of Lil Wayne's tour bus. Also in the same year, of a 2015 rival street member known as Donovan Thomas Jr.'s sad passing, as prosecutors say that Young Thug had involvement in it. As it states, Jeffrey Williams and Gunna, whose real name is Sergio Kitchens, have pleaded not guilty and deny the allegations, including that Williams had a role in the January 10th, 2015 passing of alleged rival team member Donovan Thomas Jr. Prosecutors say that Williams rented the silver Infiniti Q50 sedan that was linked to the crime. Now, one of the YSL members that are currently snitching against Young Thug claimed that Young Thug said in an iOS group chat, and I quote, "Sacrifices must be made, soldiers must fall in order for the battle to be won." Now, luckily, Young Thug's lawyer had a very strong defense and proved that Young Thug said no such thing. But while Young Thug's lawyer is making great defenses for Thug, there was one thing that kept him in jail, and he was denied bond once again. The judge agreed with prosecutors when they made the statement claiming just how dangerous Young Thug is, as the snitches currently in YSL are scared for their families' lives, and even with Young Thug behind bars. Now, with the news of who is snitching in the YSL case being released, we saw reporters approach Lil Baby outside of an airport for his reaction.
How you doing, Lil Baby? Lil Baby. Lil Baby, how's Young Thug doing? I know all the circumstances. Just want to see how they holding up good? Sure. All right. Love what you're doing, man.
A few days after Lil Baby's reaction was released, there was paperwork leaked in the Atlanta DA's office revealing very concerning information on 4PF and Lil Baby. As reported by DJ Academics, Lil Baby as well as members of 4PF are next on the Atlanta DA's Rico list, the same list that Young Thug and YSL were on. Now, very similar to how YSL and Young Thug were raided and arrested, it's alleged that we can now see this happen to Lil Baby any day now.
An in-depth investigation. Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases. There are going to be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
Now, after that was broadcasted on live news, it didn't take long for Lil Baby's reaction to this to be released either, as Lil Baby then tweeted on Twitter, "I'm trying to start an investment group for the young millionaires. We can run the world if we play it right." As someone replied, "Man, you better be looking out for that Rico everybody keeps talking about." with Lil Baby replying, "Only God can judge me." Now, shortly after she did the interview on live TV, paperwork was released revealing the next rap group to be targeted by the Atlanta DA, known as Fani Willis. As Fani Willis revealed 2 new rap groups to be arrested under Rico charges, all based in Atlanta. One group being from a top artist in the game, with a second being an average-sized artist who is allegedly 22Gs. Now, with YSL already being taken down, according to DJ Academics, the streets are claiming that Lil Baby and 4PF are next, making many believe that Young Thug, or some of the 28 members arrested within YSL, ratted on Lil Baby, as YSL and 4PF have been very close ties ever since both camps were created, not to mention that Lil Baby and Young Thug are best friends and have been for many years. So prosecutors claim that it wouldn't be a crazy idea for members of YSL that do street work in that team to also do street stuff for 4PF. It does kind of make sense, as both camps are also located in the exact same area. Now, Lil Baby started getting targeted by Fani Willis after this court hearing was over.
He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime, because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
Concerns that this court has is danger to persons and to intimidate other witnesses and obstruct the administration of justice. So and for those reasons in the aggregate, I'm going to deny bond at this time.
Now, during that court hearing is when prosecutors revealed that Lil Woody, or YSL members, were snitching and creating proffer deals with the feds. It was just at that time where we didn't know it was Lil Woody, as these members were snitching and creating proffer deals, giving them all of the information and evidence on Young Thug that they had in exchange for a lesser prison sentence for themselves. And thankfully, due to leaks within the court system, it was actually laid out on what these members snitched Young Thug for. Prosecutors believe that Lil Baby runs 4PF very similar as well. It was told that Young Thug gave Gunna a command role among YSL, which is very important when you hear the reasons why Young Thug is so dangerous. The first reason is allegedly how Young Thug runs his operation. As mentioned by YSL members that are currently snitching, Young Thug is the head of the entire organization. Young Thug would often recruit new members, and their first task would be to find and steal used iPhones. These iPhones would then be used as what's called a burner phone, where Young Thug would have these iPhones wiped completely clean and only having the app FaceTime on them. He would then use these phones to FaceTime his troops around YSL to handle business on the streets, whether it was narcotic related, going after rival street members, or needing some very important work done. Now, when using FaceTime, it's impossible for law enforcement as well as cell phone providers to tap the phones and listen in on phone calls. It was reported in court that FaceTime is often used by street members as there's no trace of what is said in calls anywhere. An often tactic used while using FaceTime is that if you had a job that was finished, you would then call Young Thug and shake your head up and down if the job was complete. If it wasn't, you then shake your head side to side and then end the phone call. Now, members that snitched also mentioned how dangerous Young Thug truly is. If you cross him, he will get you and your family, which is why earlier in the video we stated that members of YSL that are currently snitching are already very, very afraid of what will happen to them. And as the days go on inside of the YSL case, only more members are gonna start snitching and creating deals. As mentioned by many news sources, a lot of these 28 arrested in YSL, they don't want to go serve life inside of jail. That's just not ideal. That's why a lot of them are creating these deals. If you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the case, leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe.